Well, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the webinar today, how to use this simple I see you everywhere framework to dominate new neighborhoods without spending a fortune. So we're going to kick this off today, and I'd like to ask everyone, um, you know, or first what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the old way, right? The expensive way of marketing and advertising your roofing business. And talk a little bit about how the gold rush is over, right? There's no more one-trick ponies. There's no magic pills anymore. It's a lot of hard work that you have to put in, but that hard work results in great resources to your company. So we're going to talk about the new way that anyone can use regardless of budget and size. So it doesn't matter if you're a roofing salesperson or if you are a company that does 25 million and 50 million a year and have $1 million marketing budget. You can use these principles all the way through that scope and scale. We're going to introduce you to the I See You Everywhere framework. I'm going to talk about creating your larger than life appearance online. Then Adam's going to talk about unleashing the hidden sales opportunities for every customer and how to flip that one sale into 10. And that's really the key ingredient in all of this. So, of course, a little housekeeping, need your attention, please. If you're serious about your roofing business, give us 60, maybe 90 minutes. If we get into some good Q&A, this could really accelerate the growth in your roofing business this year, right? Whether, like I said, whether you're a salesperson, a roofing business owner, this could accelerate your sales team. So turn off your phones, turn off your Facebook. I know it's easy to have multiple tabs open going on during this, but give us your full attention if you can. So if you don't know me, if you came in from, maybe one of Adam's videos or Adam's email list, if you don't know me, if you haven't seen me, I'm on his channel a little bit. We have a couple thousand views on his channel, I think, from things that we've done together. But my name is Jim Ahlin. I'm the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, co-author of the book Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, host of the Roofing Success podcast. I speak at a lot of industry events, lastly at RoofCon coming up at Win the Storm. I'm on the marketing panel there. We do this every day. We are a digital marketing agency for roofing contractors. This is what we do. Adam, I'll let you talk about yourself a little bit.
Awesome. My least favorite thing. So for those of you that don't know me, and for those of you that do, welcome back. For those of you that don't, my name is Adam Bensman, the Roof Strategist, and I've been in the industry for, long time. And I grew a sales team. I kind of fell into this the way everybody does on accident, started knocking doors, had no training, quickly worked my way up to COO of a company, helped them create a model to run, I think it was 6 offices at once, multiple states, grew my sales team to 30, and have since been a consultant, coach, and trainer in sales and marketing for companies across the US and Canada. And this is just a few of the real world results. These are all unsolicited for whatever it's worth. You're welcome to browse through them. Upper left here, guy named Will just messaged me this from Hawaii when I wished him a happy New Year's. And he says, if I hadn't committed to your program, it looked different. The one next to it's a guy named Michael, and he's purchased a bunch of training systems from other folks. I blurred them out just for being a good human. There's no need to do this. And he says that none of them has been as simple. Jared here got to 1.3 million using these strategies in his in 1 year roofing sales. And then you can see a few others of folks who are having some pretty substantial results by using the framework that we're going to be teaching you, my side of the framework that goes super well with Jim's side. And I do new videos weekly, one published today. You can check it out on the podcast and YouTube channel, The Roof Strategist. So that's just a quick snapshot.
And so Adam and I met. We run a Facebook group on Facebook. It was called the Roofing Roofing Marketing Mastermind Group. Now it's called Roofing Success. So if you have a chance, not now, wait till we're done with the webinar, then go open your Facebook and join the Roofing Success. Just type in Roofing Success on Facebook and join the group. But there was some conversation going on in the group and about hiring. And someone dropped in the chat, man, check out Adam's stuff. It's really worked well. And so I went and checked him out, and I was like, wow, yeah, he looks like he has some good content here. And so I invited him into the group, which we don't do. right? And you don't invite competition, not that Adam's competition, but since then we've done a lot of content together. I ran the numbers. We have over like close to 5,500, 6,000 views of the content that we have put out between YouTube and the podcast networks and things like that. And so we started realizing that we had a lot of synergies, wouldn't you say?
I would say without a doubt. And
a lot of overlap and a lot of the same kind of thinking, right? And we both really believe in really helping the roofing community. The mission of Roofer Marketers is to help roofing contractors generate more sales through their digital marketing efforts. We do that through our agency, but we also do that through our education. And I know Adam also, man, you provide amazing education.
well, thank you. I like to give away a ton. My mission is to help people develop a personal sales strategy that they can follow to smash their income goals. And I work with everyone from individual sales reps to running private trainings for companies with 40 sales reps like last week. And I just love doing it. I love helping people use this industry to change their lives because it really opens up opportunities, and anyone can jump in and do this. But the cream rises to the top, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you today is some strategies to help you do just that.
So a couple of weeks ago, Adam sent me a message on Facebook, and he was like, "Hey, what about this idea of doing this webinar together?" And really, it came about because we've had a lot of conversations about, kind of the real reason for marketing and buying leads and things like that. So for everyone on here, we don't like to just talk here to ourselves. We could talk, we could get on the phone and talk all day, or on a Zoom call and talk all day, but we want to talk to you. So what's the real reason for buying a lead or spending money on marketing for your business? If you could drop that in chat, love some interaction on that. See what people
and while thoughts are coming up, please do share what the real reason is behind this, because everyone's got a different reason. And some people say, hey, real reason for buying a lead for me is to get a sale, right? Like, duh, why the heck are you guys asking? And if that's you, drop it in the chat. And if it's something else, if it's about branding, if it's your reputation, if it's growing your presence, whatever that might be. So Kenneth, and by the way, thanks, Kenneth. I think you commented on one of the posts, says to get a sale. So this is the common response to grow your business. These are all good. Grow the company and spread the word on how awesome we are. I love that, Vinny. I like the big reason behind this: increased exposure. So grow sales, get sales and grow companies, sales and brand recognition, and brand and provide leads for the team for success. Hey, Tinos, good to have you here. And David, I'm glad that you were able to join live. I didn't think you'd be able to. And to feed good salespeople. So these are all awesome responses. Jim, do you want to roll with this, or do you want me to?
No, start talking about it.
So one thing, and to get, okay, Cody, you are the closest here, is to getting into a new area. Josh, I just want to reply, grow presence, face recognition for the brand, and then a sale, and then grow the presence in a heavily roofing company saturated market. So these are all great responses. And frankly, none of them are wrong. What we would like to do, if there's one key takeaway from this training today, it's to shift the mindset of what lead gen is. And the biggest opportunity here, the shift that we can make, is not looking at buying a lead equals one sale. We're not buying a customer. This is a very dated way of thinking. What we really want you to start thinking about is buying your way, as Cody said, into a new area. And I want you to pay attention to what Jim's going to show first, and then I'm going to share, because we each are in different sweet spots, and we just happen to have this synergy overlap of our approach, and these work really well together. So you can see that when we look at how we compete in the market to buy a lead, instead of that lead being attributed to like, okay, I bought this lead, and it took me 3 leads to get this one sale. Okay. Then how do we expand on that? And Jim, I'll let you take it from here so I don't stomp on your toes.
No, that's exactly what we want to get. And so now when we're talking about, buying a lead or spending money on marketing to get that sale, the question always becomes customer acquisition cost. Right. And so what are you willing to spend to acquire a new customer? So drop that in the chat. What is, of course, the first answer is free, nothing, zero, free 99, right? Like that's what everyone wants to, right? Tino says $500, right? $500 to acquire a new customer.
Vinny,
0 to 800. Vinny has to throw in the 0, because 0 is always the best, right?
Yep.
$0 to $800 to acquire that new customer.
0 to
right?
650.
Drew, 0 to 650, right?
As
We're all
these
in that.
numbers drop in, I want to share this 6 hours knocking. Hey, William, love it.
knocking.
Recognizing a lot of names here. As these numbers come in, I want you to think about this. I heard someone, and Jeff had a great one. He said, as much as you need in order to keep your margins. The one shift here is, and I heard this all the time in marketing and sales, the more you are willing to spend to acquire a customer, the more competitive you can be. And this is all balanced with what Jeff said, is in order to keep your margins. So in this training, teaser alert, we're going to be sharing how this strategy, this framework, the I See You Everywhere framework, will allow you to take that number, double, triple, quadruple, or higher, while staying profitable, which then will allow you to compete with the top competitors in the market and still be profitable. And I'll leave it for the rest. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
To me, I believe that the traditional metric for that is referred to as long-term value of a client, long-term value of a customer. So a lot of times we focus so much on this customer acquisition cost that we miss out on the real opportunity, which is the long-term value of that customer. And so that's what we're going to go into. You know those companies in your area, and you're like, how do they do this, right? Like, where do they get the budget from? Or you're competing against the Mr. Roof, Able Roofs, the guys with budgets like that, unlimited marketing budgets. Like, we have clients in Raleigh in Mr. Roofs in Raleigh, and the cost per click in Raleigh is higher just because Mr. Roof's budget is in Raleigh, right? Like, try to compete in the DFW. David knows, he's down in the DFW, right? Like, you have to. It's a difficult thing in some of these competitive markets. The people that were right, they're in Aurora, the Denver market, the Front Range, super competitive. So that old thinking of the person who can pay the most for a client wins, that it's a traditional way of thinking. It is true to a point, but it has to be framed a little bit differently, right? That's that kind of old way of thinking, is just throw money at it, right? Like, let's throw $30,000 at Home Advisor this month and see what happens, right? Like, not that anyone wants to ever do that, but throwing money at television and radio, and never knowing where the conversions are coming from, never knowing where where the actual sales are occurring. And so now in modern marketing, we could get so detailed and so technical in this. We can get to those people a lot better, and we can focus more on a neighborhood level, right? We can bring it down to the neighborhood level. So the old expensive way of just, hey, if you're not that company with that budget in your market, you lose. That's kind of the old way, right? If you're not that company, you lose. But there also are no magic pills to this, right? I say no diet pills. Adam pointed out there are diet pills, Jim. There's diet pills that just go to GNC. You can buy all kinds of diet pills, but there are no magic pills, right? Like, and it takes a framework and systems in your business to achieve this. But we're going to show you the way to do it, no matter what kind of marketing budget you have, right? And how to take even a small marketing budget and put some effort behind that marketing budget that will lead to some exponential growth in those sales. And we want to talk about this fundamental shift, right? And Adam, I want you to chime in on this a little bit too, but it's the concept. The old concept is to be everywhere to everyone, right? If you're down in Dallas, you're in the DFW, you're one of the, who's it? Lon, is it Lon Smith or one of those guys? Like, those guys are everywhere. You see their trucks everywhere. You see they're ranked in Google everywhere. They're on television commercials. They're this, they're that, they're here, they're there. And that they had huge budgets.
Yeah.
But what if you can be everyone to the neighborhoods you serve?
It's all about being the right message to the right people. And this is how you get more from the budget. I just ran a training for a company in Colorado, and they happen to dominate this golf course community. My mother happens to live there, and he says, hey, we absolutely crushed it. We dominated this neighborhood. And they're a mid-sized company. They were doing about $5 million a year. They were bringing on they're doubling their sales force in the next month. But what's interesting is before they reached out, I'm in Colorado. I'd never even heard of these guys. And they were the neighborhood golf course, massive homes. So the big idea here is to shift this idea. And there's a lot of ego, unfortunately, involved. And I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We all want to be big, right? We all want to be recognized. But when we focus about being recognized by the right people and the right opportunities, we can get more from our efforts, both on the digital front and I love when people said knocking doors, $0. Those are the leads we're going to get into here shortly, but these all work together, and it is all about being in front of the right people. And this is kind of how it all fits together,
This
Jim.
is
I'll
kind
let
of
you.
how it all fit. Yeah, this is to give you a kind of a visual representation of the everywhere framework. You're combining, what did Adam came up with? Boots,
knuckles, and clicks.
Boots, knuckles, and clicks, right? So the boots and knuckles, door knocking, having your, trucks driving through the neighborhoods that you're in, right? Your signs in the yard, you have, but you're also combining that with your web presence through social media, your website, through search advertising, retargeting, and I'll get into retargeting a little bit of what that is. Those are those ads that follow you around. Direct mail pieces, but really targeted direct mail pieces, which Adam is a specialist in, and he'll show you some stuff in a little bit, and email, right? So combining all of these things together, a lot of times, like, we're a digital marketing agency, and so a lot of times the offline stuff is not what companies like ours talk about. We don't talk about the offline stuff. We're just like, hey, run more Facebook ads or run more, Google ads, but what about the actual neighborhood, boots on the ground, knocking on doors? That is one of the most effective ways. Power remodeling is built on that, right? Almost $1 billion in sales a year doing this, right? Like, it's how this business works. So combining this framework together, and here's an example. So now a potential customer visits your website, but they leave without calling. That later they surf the web, right? And if you have retargeting ads running, your ad recaptures their interest. Maybe they see an ad on Facebook for you, or they go to check the weather and they see you there. That brings them back to you. And then you end up signing that customer, and that potential customer turns into a happy customer. That's kind of the digital cycle, right? But now, what about when a neighbor sees your sign in the yard? They don't just pull up their phone or pull up their computer and Google your company to check your reviews, right? And then on production day, you're over there knocking on their door, right? And with Adam's turnaround special, right? Right? Hey, you need your roof inspected, by the way, right? Later on, they surf the web, your ad builds additional trust, you close the sale, right? Now, you're working this neighborhood domination framework, and the neighbor receives your letter. They Google your company because that's what people do, right? They call and schedule an inspection. Later, they surf the web. Your ad builds additional trust. You close another sale. Then you ask for referrals. You meet with the referrals. They Google you to see your reviews. They visit your Facebook page to check out your work. You close another sale. They leave you a review on Google. You ask for referrals. It all goes together, right? And that's the mindset shift that I want everyone to make. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see how that works well together. Like that those components, all of these components work well together.
And this is what separates tactics from strategy. And there are by the way, thank you for everybody doing this. The difference between a tactic and a strategy is a strategy provides a point A to Z approach. A tactic is one step on the way. There are many people retargeting ads. This is like 101 of marketing, right? But it's how these piece together, which is what we're going to continue layering on, but we want to give you the right approach. And yes, old school versus new school combined. And I will say, Jim's the new school guy. I am very old school. And that's a great way to apply this. In terms of, by the way, when I say old school, I mean, like, I'm sitting there with a pen and a paper in front of a human. This is old school. Timeless sales, right? Jim is like riding the wave of technology and what's the best way to get right in front of everyone we need to do. So awesome.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. How to create a larger than life appearance online, right? I always hear, like I saw on some of the on a roofing guru's YouTube channel recently. He had videos about the 5 ways to generate a review or a lead for your business online. And he was number 1 is Google, right? That's a broad statement. Google. What do you mean Google? Well, yeah, Google. Google. Let's just go to Google. But with Google, there's SEO, there's pay-per-click, there's retargeting. On Google, there's paid online directories, right? You can develop repeat and referral business on, through email marketing and social marketing that you're generating through Google, pay-per-lead services, social media advertising, right? Referral programs. This is what we call our digital dominance method. It's our omnipresent approach to online, to being online, right? Having all of the places. The way we really frame it is we want to maximize the opportunity to generate a lead for your roofing business, right? Maximize the opportunity to generate that call. And it starts on Google. It starts with your website. This is what what's called the local search engine results page of Google looks like. So when someone says, man, Google's a great way to generate leads for your roofing business, which part of Google, right? That's the question you need to ask. Which part of Google? When there is what's referred to as commercial intent behind the search term, like this one was for a search, roofing contractors, Philadelphia. There's commercial intent behind that search. And what that means is that someone typing that into Google probably is looking to make a phone call. So that's what we're looking for at what we refer to as the bottom of the funnel. That's where we want to start. That the people closest to making a buying decision. And then we work our way up from there. If somebody types in best color roof for a blue house, they're probably not looking to make a phone call. So this is what the search engine results page looks like when someone is looking to make a phone call. You have your Google local service ads at the top of the page. These get about 14% of the traffic on the page on average. Then you have your Google pay-per-click, gets about 11% of the traffic on the page on average. Your map section, about 35% of people will click on a company here in the map section. And the rest of the traffic goes down to the websites. The additional 40% goes down to the websites that Google feels is most relevant. And that's where you're competing against the Home Advisors, the Angie's List, the Yelp, a Better Business Bureau, all of those companies that are spending millions of dollars to get ranked. But there are always a few local companies that are sprinkled in there too. So a huge opportunity. So with this, we'll first talk about the paid section, right? So the top 2 at the top of the page are Google's paid section. They get about 25% of the traffic. So if you're not involved in these, you're leaving yourself out of 25% of the conversation. Google local service ads are Google's pay per lead section. The way I like to frame this is that Google saw how well Home Advisor was doing selling leads to all of you. And they went, wow, that's a good business model. Let's do that and put it at the top of the page because we're Google and we own the page. So this is Google's pay per lead section. $30 to $60 is on average is what leads are coming in there. Next is Google's pay per click section. Pay per click, you have to be very careful on. Do not do this yourself. Putting together a Google pay-per-click campaign, it's a very mature channel. There's lots of pitfalls in there. And it's the most expensive area to generate a phone call. You're talking, $100 in a low competition area to $350 in a higher competition area just to make the phone ring, right? But you want to be there when that searcher is looking for it. And you can get very targeted. So, you can be very targeted on where you are putting these ads, like in the neighborhoods that you're looking at, or where a specific hailstorm came through, things like that. Now we're moved down to the Google Maps section. This is the organic. The organic is the map section and the websites. And so, like I said, about 35% of the traffic goes to the organic section, but it's not about just getting there. The next part of that is you have to have a better reputation than your competitors, right? Here we have 4 Seasons Roofing, 4.6 star rating, 16 reviews. Union Roofing, 3.6 star rating with 83 reviews. Universal with 4.2 star rating, 29 reviews. You have to have a better reputation than the people you show up next to. Another real key factor to this is that it's very proximity based. So if you're on if you're in Colorado, if you're in the Denver area, if you're in Broomfield and you search for roofing contractor near me, you're going to get different results than if you're down in Highlands Ranch, right? It's going to be different. If you're in the DFW and you're in Fort Worth, you're going to get different results than if you're up in Plano, right? There's different results because it's extremely proximity based. So the tip here is make sure that your office location is near your perfect customer, right? So make sure your office location is near your perfect customer and make sure that you have a better reputation than the person next to you. Then you have the websites that are most relevant. And Google is always, like Home Advisor has, I think, 1,900,000 pages on their website. Every city in the country, they have this 25 best roofers page for. So your website has to also cast a wide net. It has to have a lot of pages, a lot of content on it. Then any traffic that comes through your ads, any traffic that comes through your website, you want to then retarget those people with ads on the Google Display Network and on Facebook. So now they visited your website, they go check the weather, there's an ad for your company. They go check the scores, there's an ad for your company. They're on an app on their phone, there's an ad for your company. They're over on YouTube searching around, watching videos on how to knit a sweater, there's an ad for your company. And also when they're searching on your Facebook, on their Facebook feed. Moving on to Facebook, the other opportunity there and how it flows together is now on Facebook, you're running brand awareness advertising, which is also audience building. It's getting people to recognize who you are. Then you're also running lead generation as like storm damage if you're in a storm damage restoration market, maybe a financing offer if you're in a retail market, some certain dollars off also, things like that. So when you're running offers, that's more for lead generation. There's also running brand awareness. And that brand awareness, sometimes it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot of traction, but those impressions in front of people are where the magic happens, right? Is there a magic number of Google reviews to get to? William said, I'll get to that in a second. So now we're running this. We have all of these things going at the same time. And the result becomes this. This is Prominent Construction, one of our clients in Minneapolis here. 2018, 500 and something calls, 560 calls. 2019, 970. 2020, even with the pandemic, another 900 calls. But I want you to recognize that there are multiple sources of these, right? We're not just saying Google My Business Listing, Google Organic, Google AdWords, and ad extension. That's an ad that shows up in the map section or when someone clicks to see more companies in your area. Facebook paid. We tried a little campaign on Bing that year, right? Like now over here, their Facebook ads blew up this year, and making sure that balances out, right? The reason that their lead flow stayed very similar from year to year, but the number of leads from different sources changed, right? So Google's algorithm is always moving things. Your competitors it might be, putting an effort into their SEO. All of this is changing. There's an old sales trainer that I love a lot. His name is Jim Rohn, and one of the things that I got from him was that you need 5 to 7 lead sources to have consistent lead flow in your business. And so this is those 5 to 7 lead sources online. And now we're going to bring that into what happens when you get to the neighborhood.
Awesome.
Oh, I wanted, can I address William real quick? Is there a magic number of Google reviews to get to? So what you want to do, William, is look up the competitors in your area, and you want to, like, if there are competitors in your area with hundreds of reviews, you got to get into the 3 digits, man. If there are the competitors in your area that are in that like 50 to 70 range, you're probably not going to start getting phone calls until you're in that 30 to 40 range in reviews. Like you're not going to make a good impact there. Adam said, I'm at 16 Google, 20 on Facebook. Focus on Google first. That's where people are searching for you. Once you get enough reviews to compete on Google, then I would work on Facebook, Better Business Bureau, things like that. Sorry, Adam, what were you mentioning?
Oh, I was going to ask if I can steal the screen share.
Yeah, man. Let's see if Let's see if I could pop that off to you. Let me stop share.
Share screen. It says host disabled. Hey, while Jim gets me set up to share the screen, the one thing I want to talk about on these reviews in that slide where Jim showed where all the calls are coming in, you notice that on the company that was on the far right, Facebook was up towards the top and in the middle company was towards the bottom. I've found that different markets respond differently to different lead sources. Like I worked in Montana, and when we were in Montana, Facebook did great, and in our Wisconsin market, it didn't. And same thing, like we did a mass direct mail piece. One market does awesome, and the next market it's crickets. And it's like, oh, that was a $15,000 flush of cash. So just know that with whatever you might hear on the internet, if something worked in one place, it may need a different approach or a combination of things in a different market. And our job by doing this for everywhere framework is to find out what's gonna work and then do more of that.
Yeah.
Is that all right that I chimed in on that one?
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna be jumping in. Whoops. Oh man, I spoiled it. Hopefully no one saw that too fast. What I want to talk about here is the second tip, which is unleashing hidden sales opportunities from every customer. So we got a sale. By the way, you're gonna see a lot of my fancy artwork because I got a new device to create these beautiful slides. How many sales opportunities are hiding inside the customer's experience? Drop this in the chat. And if you already saw it, where'd this go? Come on now, my presentation. There it is. Jim, I can't bring up the chat while I'm in this. Oh, there I am. All right, 22, says Erica. Well, because Erica and I talked recently. Spoiler alert. 25, okay? There are 25 sales opportunities that are hiding inside one customer. A customer meaning you've picked up a check and a contract from them. Most companies only try 2 and they miss the other 23. By the way, I know you're probably wondering, like, how is this? I'm going to quantify all of these statements as we progress. The 2 that most people do is this. They might ask for a referral, maybe. Now, I have run sales trainings for companies across the US. I've run them at suppliers, I've spoken on stages, and I ran one for a sales team of 40 a couple weeks ago. The owner said, we're really good at reviews. And I said, dude, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I want to challenge your team. I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, raise your hand and show me with the number of fingers how many referrals you asked for this week. It was crickets. They look around, a few people, 1, 2, everyone else silent. I had an owner that I talked to yesterday. He goes, man, I know I'm not so good. I know it's easy, but they just don't do it. Now, so maybe they'll ask for a referral. And the second one is maybe on install day, they'll be there working the neighborhood. But there's 23 other opportunities for us to penetrate. And it is so much easier to do that than to try going cold. So, and I'm curious in the chat, sales is a numbers game, right? You hear this specifically in roofing sales. And training teams up. Go knock doors, you get in front of people, it's going to work. So if we all agree that sales is a numbers game, and we agree, which you hopefully will after I show you, that there's 25 sales opportunities, that if we work the extra 23, we will see more results. So if there's 25 opportunities from just one customer, how is that? Now, I'm going to show you when on the next slide, but how is this? Number one is insurance agents. Every homeowner has an insurance agent. Doesn't matter if you're doing storm or retail work. For some reason, they become the number one call for someone saying, hey, I have an issue with my roof. Who do you recommend? And insurance agents, even if you plant these seeds, let's say you're doing 300 roofs a year or 1,000 roofs a year, if we have a different agent for even 60% of those customers and you reach out to them and you provide the right service and introduction, those can lead to very fruitful relationships that can feed you literally millions year over year, because instead of doing all this effort to sign one customer, through this, we have a relevant touch point on the agent, and he or she, they might send you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 25 roofs a year times so many years. Now, all of a sudden, that one contact, that's a 100x return. Then we move into SLAP canvassing. SLAP, if you're not familiar, is my canvassing formula I teach. Say hi, break the ice. Let them know why you're there and make it incredibly familiar to their neighborhood. Ask an open-ended question. Requires thought. Not, do you need an inspection? That's yes or no, not interested. When was the last time you had your roof inspected and routine maintenance conducted? Hey, how's the insurance process been for you? Where are you at in the process? Okay, what did the insurance say when they came out? Any of these are open-ended questions which require thought. So we use this relevant, which I'll share in a minute. Then email. Email is such an under-leveraged piece of sales. And in this strategy, I'm going to show you, I personally include a referral request on every email. Value, here's what's next, referral invite. And I did this by design to give companies control. I did it for ourselves because sales reps weren't asking. So we're going to layer in email. Then we're going to layer in direct mail, but I'm talking targeted. Oh man, I don't have one with me. Targeted direct mail. Handwritten, hand-stamped, very personalized. People open it out of curiosity, leave behind letters at the door and referrals. And these are all going to combine here in a minute. So then the next question is, when do we do it? So we just saw these how, all right? There's these 6 pieces. When? We have 5 different stages of the customer experience, which represent key and critical sales opportunities. New customer, number 1, sign the check, collect a deposit, contract, done. So when the job is scheduled, people overlook this because they say, oh, well, I'll just work at install day. Yes, you should. But this is narrow-minded. If you're there on install day, we all know not everyone's home. If you're knocking doors at noon and people are at work, you miss them. When you show up at a previous time when the job is scheduled, you can still leverage the impact of install day, prime people and let them know you're in the neighborhood. If they don't make contact, they got the leave behind letter at the door, a letter in the mail, you show back up on install day, and I'm going to show you what changes in the customer's mind through this. Then we have install day number 3. Number 4 is when the install is done, before it's paid in full. This is another key opportunity to work the neighborhood. And then PIF, that was our shorthand for paid in full. Don't know if you guys use that one as well, but that's paid in full. These are the main opportunities that people miss. Scheduled, install, done, paid in full, and they do not maximize the new customer and install day practices, which I'm going to share with you here. So the outcome, I want you to think of this like a guaranteed weight loss plan. As we agreed upon, it's a numbers game. With a weight loss plan, if you, and I use this because almost everyone's tried to lose weight or get in better fitness. I lost 30 pounds not long ago. And the idea is if I gave you a meal plan, I said, here's the exact thing to eat, here's your exact workout regimen, and I'm going to be coaching you every step of the way, results, unless you have some medical condition, it's a scientific fact that will result in weight loss, right? We know this. And with sales, this formula, when we leverage these touch points, these multiple touch points in a customer, the result is control for the company, consistency, and then maximize sales. So it really is a formula for roofing success. And when I say a formula, these are different inputs that will all have the same output, okay? So the whole idea, and for any owners here, and I recognize a few names, what burns salespeople out is cold door knocking. And I know not everyone here knocks doors. Many people don't do it because they hate cold door knocking and they don't want their company to be cold door knocking. Now, that's your choice. What's going through the customer's mind is in this very artfully created speech bubble. In the customer's mind, they say, who the heck are you at the door? Okay. Warm is once you've landed that one sale, you've introduced yourself to the agent. You've sent the welcome email to the customer. You knock the neighbor's doors. You got the neighbor's names from the homeowner to say, hey, I got your name from Peggy. We're doing her roof. And I simply want to stop by and let you know that we're installing her roof next week. Now, if any debris comes in your yard, here's my card. Call me if you have any questions. Then you do the walkway. Hey, you know what? By the way, while I'm here, how's the process been for you? And then you start the conversation. But now they recognize you. So they're thinking, oh, hi, I've seen that truck. I've seen your company in the neighborhood. I've seen your yard sign. I've seen your letter at the door. There's familiarity in this shift is incredibly powerful. And I have notes on my board from a podcast I listened to this morning from an FBI guy who's literally training spies. And on here, he says personal relationships are rated on this index scale: proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. Those are the 4 things they look for to be able to weasel their way in and then get information out of people. And I was like, oh my gosh, this applies to exactly what we're talking about today. This proximity and frequency creates familiarity, a personal relationship. So customers greet you with, oh, hi. Then we move to hot. Okay, this is the come on in. A referral from an agent, a referral from a neighbor or a friend. So the big idea here is when we work this formula, we only have to do this cold stuff like once, cracking open the new neighborhood. If you're working storms, it's getting into there. If it's retail, it's your first lead. And if you got a lead from Jim, you don't need to do the cold thing. And when you can make this shift in your sales reps' minds, retention goes up and they actually have fun. Yes, have fun. Watch Monday. I got an interview posting on the channel with a sales rep reporting this exact thing. So what this will allow you to do is then to dominate every neighborhood. and then flip one sale into 10 or more. This, what I'm going to show you here, will stitch all of this together. All right. I'm going to back up because I know right before we get to this, I know that there's a question, I'm guessing, on this how framework. When we layer these multiple approaches to these key stages and we work the system, and we know that at each stage, we're going to do a combination of knocking doors, leaving letters, sending letters in the mail. Our job is to build that familiarity. Okay. And when all of this comes together, this is what happens. You flip one sale into 10. So I want you to watch how it works. We have our tactics, okay, on the left. These are individual tactics. Working insurance agents, email, slap canvassing, direct mail, letter leave behinds and referrals. On the right in blue, we have the key stages. This is the strategy. When we do all of these, this is how it works out. Follow along. I'm going to make all this make sense. Up in the upper left, this is our first sale. Okay, we introduced ourselves to this insurance agent who just so happens to give us a referral. We also knock on the neighbor's door through these key times when the job is scheduled, right when they're a new customer, day of install, when it's complete. So we're going to get one more. So this one job turns into another one, which then we get the neighbor from that. They give us 2 referrals, which, by the way, teaser, my referral program rewards $25 for an opportunity to speak with someone you might be able to help regardless of whether or not they want to work together. Is one of the most powerful referral strategies that you can build into your business, because then customers not thinking that you're making too much money, they get an instant reward, and it's all about the appointment. And people don't want to sell their friends. So now you got 2 referrals from that. You work one more neighbor who calls in the office because they've seen you a million times. They could call in off of a letter leave behind, your yard sign. They've seen you 100 times. They jump online to look up a roofing company or to check and validate if you're legit, as Jim showed. And now all of a sudden they're seeing these digital things and they call. This one's from a mailer since we're working direct mail. All right. And then another referral. And then same thing, this insurance agent referral back at the top, we knock the install. So what happens is we create a viral web where we kind of look at this as an in, and then boom, it spreads out when you work the system. And then the sales become even more viral when you add in the digital omnipresence, which is what Jim does. You know, when you know that consumers are less trusting now than ever in history, because anyone can start business, because our own government, and excuse me, I don't mean to make politics into this, but I think whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, there's a level of distrust. And when people see your stuff, they may look you up, and then boom, now they're in your web and you're everywhere. And again, you're everywhere to the right person. So everywhere they look in person in their real world, outside their screen time, you're everywhere. When they are on screen time, on Facebook, browsing the internet, you're everywhere. And that's credibility. So with the right formula to consistently maximize all 5 of these 25 opportunities, it will work. And you can confidently buy your way into a neighborhood. And I crossed out compete because I know that you can win against the big boys. I've seen it happen over and over and over again, even to the individual sales reps that are using the stuff that I provide, the strategies that I teach. So that was it. Jim, I'm coming back to you.
Drew has a question here. Are you leaving a brochure in the mailbox if the homeowners aren't home, or do you want that face-to-face introduction to them?
Great question. And I'm going to answer all these questions real quick now that I have the chat pulled up. So do I leave a brochure? I don't believe in brochures. Let me tell you why. When someone sees a brochure, it screams, this is marketing material. And you're likely not the first roofing company to put a brochure or a overly designed door hanger. I used them too. People see these, they instantly associate trash. My job is the decision tree. Trash or read. I play on curiosity. If I used this plain piece of paper, folded up, stuck in your door, you're going to wonder what's inside, aren't you? Because it doesn't say it on the outside. So immediate decision tree. They're not going to throw it out till they at least peek at it. Then they open it up. That's your piece. I print everything on plain paper for that reason. I've watched customers of mine they say, hey, it looks more professional. Their results plummet when things are overly designed. So we play into this curiosity piece. And that's why the direct mail letters I write have a headline that captures attention. There's no logos on it. Yes, your info and name is on there, but it doesn't scream marketing material or solicitation. So that's why I believe in plain paper. Now, do I leave it in the mailbox? I always knock. If they are not home, then I leave the letter at the door. I leave behind. Then I send one in the mail. Okay. And it's simple to track all this stuff. You can use any apps you're using. You can use a spreadsheet. I provide a spreadsheet. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But that way, when you show back up, they have that letter. And just as a kind of a teaser on that, you can even mention, hey, the reason I'm stopping by, I came by the other day after I left Peggy's house and I didn't catch you. So I sent you a letter in the mail. And here's your open-ended question. And while I'm in the neighborhood, I just wanted to ask, what questions did you have for me about that letter I sent you? So you see how that's a warm conversation. It's open-ended. What questions? Not do you have any questions? What questions do you have? Now they're thinking about the letter. They're thinking about the content of that letter. And Will, who's actually on here, did this, started a conversation right after getting a call back from a customer, signed the next one. That was 2 deals in a day. And he sent me a text and he made $5,000 in a day. Hope that was okay to share, Will. So at any rate, that's how I use plain paper and that. And then how do I get contact info from insurance agents? Ford, great question. Very simple. We ask the customer, hey, what insurance agent do you use? I just want to reach out and introduce myself to them and let them know that I'm going to keep them up to date on the project. So your policy details are up to date and reflect the new roof that's going on. Okay. And it's true. That's what the introduction, I just want to be of value, make sure that you know what's going on. If I can be of any service to help you look like a hero through the process, I could do a long deep dive training on insurance agents. But for now, that's the big idea is you just get their name and it's about making sure the customer is made whole. Cool. Jim, back to you.
What we covered today and just the concept, right? So from a high level, you're bringing in your leads through digital, through door knocking. But once you get that one, now is where you exponentially increase the number of sales. You exponentially increase the long-term value of that customer, right? So you have to think differently in this, right? When we're talking about this, it's more about it. The question that we asked her in the beginning was what are you willing to pay for a customer, right? And we're always thinking of this one-to-one mentality. If you implemented these strategies, what would you be willing to pay for that first customer?
And when you, drop a comment. I'm very curious to see people's difference of the thought, because if many people said $0 to $800, and that's an individual acquisition cost. Yeah. When we think of spreading acquisition cost, all of a sudden these deals that we're buying, when we know we have a system or a formula to blow it up, I talked to someone the other day that said, after I shared this with them, they said, I'd be willing to spend thousands to acquire that customer, knowing that I would be able to do that. Because now if you spent that 800 and you turned it, and by the way, even if you still stayed at the 800, that 800 isn't just tied to the one customer. That 800 is tied to, let's say, the next 10, which is an $80 acquisition cost. A canvassing lead is more expensive than that. Oftentimes, right? So when we think of like, this is our into the neighborhood, what would you be willing to buy into the neighborhood? People buy memberships to golf course communities and all types of associations to get an in. And if we reshape our mindset, everything changes. And yes, $800 to buy into a neighborhood is a darn good price. I'd pay more for a lead price, right? For a homeowner in a target area, because that home alone can make 20x and beyond. Drew, I love it.
That's right.
And this, by the way, when we look at Google in competition, it's a bid. If you are willing to bid more because you know you have a system in place to turn that into many, 1 to 10, or whatever the number might be, you can easily get on page 1 on the top of Google, because you can confidently compete with a budget where most all roofing companies, even the big boys, as I call them, are looking at this cost per cost, dollar in, dollar out. And we need to think dollar in, dollar out over time, not instant. I'll shut up, Jim. Go ahead.
So I want everyone to think about 3 things that we talked about today that you can implement in your business in the next 30 to 90 days, right? Write those down on a piece of paper. Write those down, take a note on your computer, a note on your phone, whatever it is. Write those down right now, because you're going to lose this information. If you don't write this down, it's proven that if you write things down, you're more apt to take action on them. So in that, we want you to take action, right? Our goal is to get you to take action and improve your company, right? Improve your sales process, improve your opportunity to generate revenue for your company. And so write down 3 things that you will do and drop them in chat. We want to talk about it. If you have any questions like, hey, I'm not sure how do I do this or how could I do that? Throw a question out there also, so we could get you guys framed around these 3 action items that you can take, that you can put into place in the next 30 to 90 days for your business. Heading into the season, right? For most of you, we're heading into the season. So,
yeah. Joshua had a good question, or Josh did, about how can a salesperson work the digital part? He's using my strategies now. Do you have an answer for that one?
You will have to get some buy-in from the company, but as an individual salesperson, one of the things that you could do, and I think that a lot of salespeople overlook, is when you're getting Google reviews from your customers, get your name mentioned in the Google review.
Yeah. Josh. Sorry. Go ahead.
You can go and tell them, yeah, go check out our company's Google reviews and see how many times my name is mentioned. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Like that's a trust builder.
Yeah.
But you can also create your own social media that drives this process. There's a guy that I had on my podcast, Andrew Ittenauer. He did 2 million in sales last year off of Instagram, right? Yeah. As a salesperson, only from his social media postings. What were you saying, Adam?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I get excited.
Oh, you're fine.
The harder part for an individual sales rep on the digital side is, obviously, that's all company and brand recognition. Yeah. What you should do is follow all the pieces from your own sale. And as Jim mentioned, get those reviews, print the reviews out, take screenshots. I showed you mine. Those are all unsolicited. I take screenshots on here. I can share them. These are what real people are saying. I'm not even asking for these. This is what's coming. And so hopefully that helps. And then let's see. I love that, Don. Don said he's going to ask every single customer for review and referral. Fantastic. To add to that, Don, I want to share something that might be controversial to some, but I stand behind it. The first referral request should come the minute you sign the customer. People will say to me, Adam, but I didn't provide any value yet. And I disagree. You won the business. They trusted you for the roof. It is the most critical time to invite them to the referral program right when they sign, because they are in a pattern of agreeability. So I simply say, and by the way, I have a little cheat sheet. So I print this out and I leave it with the customer. So Don, if you don't do this yet, grab a piece of paper and put "Welcome to our referral program." For every introduction, you get a $25 gift card as a thank you for the opportunity to chat with someone, whether they buy from us or not. I write 10 lines because I want them to start thinking. Then what I do, let me see if I have my pen. I'll give you the full demo. I keep a pen in my shirt always when I'm selling. So I'll pull my pen out. I click it. I blade my stance, because this is a very familiar way to break the confrontational language. I have my piece of paper here, and I say, so, have you been happy with the service I provided you so far? Yeah, of course. Excellent. Well, thanks for saying that. I hope that you feel comfortable writing us a 5-star review. That's my commitment. Now, I'd love to tell you about our referral program. We have this really fun way to incentivize you for sharing the good word and allowing us to help other people the way I've helped you. So who do you know? Maybe and I list them out so they think. Any friends, any family members, any neighbors, or any coworkers who might be thinking about a new roof. And I look at my piece of paper and I'm silent. So it's an assumption that they're going to give me one. And let the uncomfortableness grow. Do not speak, okay? If they don't have anyone, it's fine. Then I click my pen and I just say, hey, it's not a problem. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this piece of paper with you. And I'm going to ask you for this as we go through the process. So if you think of anyone, just write it down in the meanwhile. And that's it. So they're introduced to it. They're thinking about it. But now that seed's planted. So again, numbers game, right? All those customer emails are going to mention the same referral program. Every time you're back at the house or in contact over those 5 stages, it comes back up. That way, each customer is asked for that referral multiple times, 5 just from emails, then the letter leave behind, and then each time in person. So, and that's all I had. Devin made a good point. Stay away from mailboxes.
I want to address
unless you're using mail.
I want to address Cindy. Cindy said there are so many things. What would be your top 3 action items? It's going to be different for everyone, right? Some of the people on this call have a good digital presence. Maybe if you don't have a good digital presence, that might be one of your action items to work on, or working on your Google reviews might be a good thing to do. Like that could be an action item. If you don't have a process in place to accelerate this, to ask for referrals, that would be a good action item. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a process in place to knock the 12 pack,
yeah,
if you don't have a process in place for your salespeople to also implement this system, the letters kind of pre-formatted, ready to go out, right? Have these things ready for your salespeople or yourself as a salesperson to implement when you're out in the field. All of those things. Practice, maybe it's just practicing your scripts for asking for the insurance agent's information, or, what you would say, what you're going to say to that insurance information, doing some role play around that. Lots of action items that you can take away from that. Drew says his top 3 is consistent branding and messaging. Man, that's big. It's big. When it's the rule of 7, they called it in marketing. It's still effective today, but it was really brought up in traditional television advertising. People don't know, they don't even recognize your brand until they see you 7 times, right? So that consistent brand and message, seeing you, they see your brand on the truck driving through. They see they see your the company name on the letter. They see the logo on the shirt when you're knocking on their door. They see your Facebook page. They see your ads with your branding on it. All of those things. Target and retarget the area on contract. Sign. Yes. Install and PIF day. Great thing to asking then. And be active in all communities you want to work in. Look at that.
Love it.
That is something right there. Like, that's an epiphany, right? Like, go where you want to work. Make this happen where you want it to happen. Alex said he showed up a little bit late. Quick summary: best way to connect and grow relationships with insurance agents.
Awesome. I'll tackle that one. And then we'll move on. So we have some time for Q&A today.
Sure.
So a couple things, and Alex, I'm going to touch on yours in just a minute, but someone said, what would our top 3 be? To me, the biggest growth that I've had in business, in any business, and specifically when I helped our company be able to run on kind of like a franchise model out of a corporate office. Now, we didn't actually franchise on the official franchise method, but was to document a system for everything. I'm a big believer, if it is not written down, it ain't happening, because no one knows. Putting something in writing and making sure everyone in the company is on the same page. So if it were me, number 1 would be to get in place a comprehensive digital strategy. Okay. You can do it on your own or offload it. I would personally just give it to Jim. But get a comprehensive strategy in place. These are big pieces that need to get knocked down like a domino. So digital strategy, get that up as quick as possible. Number 2, get a system in place that is expected for how the customer experience will work for those 5 key stages. Those are the opportunities. Take advantage of them. Okay. When you document them, I have mine in cheat sheets. I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but I'm a big fan of checklists, because a checklist is easy to follow. It can be put in digital. It can be required. I required the new customer checklist to be turned in with a job, and then the remaining checklist to be turned in when it was done. So that way the pay was withheld until these sales activities were done. When we manage a sales activity, it's easier than managing people. So document the system to follow. And then the third one is to train the team, get them up to speed. And even if it's a short session, to say, here's how we're going to do things, and here's so you know what's going on, your people will kiss your toes, because you're investing in giving them a fast and easy path to earning more money. And when your interests align, that loyalty, retention goes up, production goes up. I've watched it happen. So number 1, digital strategy, get it in place. Number two, sales system for the customer. And number three, get everyone in the company on board with this approach. That would be my 3 takeaways.
Awesome. I think as we're getting kind of closer to the end here, if anyone needs help with their digital strategy, if you want help creating that larger than life appearance online, schedule a call with us. Nikki, if you could drop the link to the website in the in there, and then so if you're interested in having a conversation with us, reach out. No matter what your income level is, things like that, we'll have a conversation and help get you going in the right direction. And then, Adam, if you want to talk about what you're...
Sure. So this roofing sales success formula that I share with you will help get your team selling and closing consistently as fast as the next 30 days. So the strategy is included in my material, along with all of the actual marketing material, the letters, the leave behinds, the emails, the insurance agent outreach content, the call scripts, the slap canvassing formula, you name it. And I cover the sales strategy and the actual closing strategy, how to run that sales appointment using my car park formula. So it's all included with the sales team plan. I recognize some folks who are in here who are on it, including a few who I'm speaking with this upcoming week. If you jump on that page and fill that form out just to express some interest, I'm going to lock something special in for you. We'll chat and I'll share some details. I want to do a little something extra as a way of saying thank you. So that link in there, theroofstrategist.com/sales team plan. And I'll be in touch. We'll talk personally. Pricing's affordable, and I'll make sure to get you set up. And anyone who's an individual rep, some of you already have the stuff. I do have options available, very cost-effective options for individual sales reps as well.
Awesome. And if anyone has any questions, drop them in chat. We'll be happy to continue to discuss that with you. Also, if you haven't tuned into the Roofing Success podcast, I'd love for you guys to check that out. We put out great content. It's where I interview successful roofing contractors, and also, industry leaders like Adam. He's been on the show a couple of times. People with great perspectives on how to find success in your roofing business. And also check out the man, the myth, the legend, the Roof Strategist on the YouTube channel.
Everything is available on a podcast as well. Wherever you podcast, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, it's there. Some folks prefer to stream while they're cruising in their truck. So everything that publishes on Mondays and Thursdays, you're going to get on both networks.
Awesome. So any more questions? I see Justin said I missed the whole thing. Where can I get the replay? We'll be sending you out a link to the replay, Justin. So stay tuned for that. I know a few of you that were around a little bit, that popped in a little bit later, like Alex. We'll be sending this out for a replay. It'll also go up on our YouTube channel, at Roofer Marketers YouTube channel. And so we'll the replay, it looks like it'll go out Monday, maybe even as soon as tomorrow, if we can get it, if we can get the video processed. Now, you got us, right? Like, anything you want to ask, we still have, Adam, this is amazing, man. We had about 77 people at the peak of this. We have 66 people still on with us today. I think that is a testament to the great information that you're sharing. And so any questions, drop it in the chat, man. Drop it in the chat. We're here for you.
I'm going to be sticking around with Jim here for the next 15 or so minutes before my next appointment, but I want to respond to Alex. So Alex said that what's the best way on this insurance agent piece? A couple things. One, next week, I'm going to be having another gentleman, Matthew Danskin, on my channel to chat about insurance agent stuff. We have some complementary approaches. He's got a really cool system for that. What I teach and the material I provide is to introduce yourself to the insurance agent of every single customer. And we do it knowing. So in sales, our job is to get ourselves out of our own head and into the head of our customers. And with insurance agents, we got to get out of our way, what we want from them, and think, what does the insurance agent want? And to them, they say, okay, I just had a claim. I don't want my customer to leave, because to them, that client, if they're not happy with the way it goes, they're bouncing to the next agent. So my job is to make the agent look like a hero in this very, very tumultuous time, so they can enhance their relationship with their customer to retain them, because they get a commission every year off the policy. So when I just send an email intro, the subject line of my email is introduction, serving mutual client with the client's name. Believe me, they will open it. because it's about their client. And we just say, hey, I'm reaching out to introduce myself. I'm doing their roof. Here's what we do. Here's how I can help you. I realize this is a sensitive time. And if you want photos, if you want to be kept in the loop, you let me know, just reply. If they reply, you then send, and in my system, I teach to send these emails at those key stages because it gets you back in touch with the agent, okay? Then also set the appointment with the agent to say, hey, is there a good time for me to come by and chat a little bit about this customer and how I might be able to help you guys out? And then offer to provide valuable service to them. All right. Meaning we'll give you priority service and free inspections, set clear expectations, by the way, because I know not every, if you are working storm work, not every claim goes as you expect. So just set clear expectations. And this still applies for retail. For retail, people call their agent. My own personal agent sent me leads out the nose, and many of them were retail. So Alex, hope that answers your question. And then Jonathan, I'm going to just jump into this. What's the P stand for in the slap canvassing? Can I please repeat? Yes. So slap. Say hi and break the ice. Hey, my name's Adam. And by the way, beautiful boat. So there's an icebreaker. Boat's in the driveway. L, let them know why you are there and make it very familiar to them. Hey, the reason I'm stopping by is I just left Peggy's house over on Cherry Street over there. And while I'm in the neighborhood, so it's okay, let them know I'm there. I left Peggy's and I named the street that's familiar. Ask an open-ended question. Okay. How has the process been for you? Where are you at in the insurance process? What did the insurance companies say when they came out? Retail. When was the last time you had your roof inspected and routine maintenance conducted? Okay. Then we wait for their answer. Then the P, what that stands for, is present to their answer. P is present. So we know that there's all these different ways we can help. Once they speak to answer this open-ended question, we essentially label it, like diagnosing it, selling like a doctor. We're like, oh, you have been prescribed with you have no idea what I'm talking about syndrome, which means, what storm are you talking about? And I can say, oh, I'm glad I'm stopped by. Peggy didn't realize she had hail damage, okay? Or if it's retail, routine maintenance. You haven't been up on your roof for routine maintenance? I'm really glad I stopped by while I'm up there, so then we can present. So that's the big idea in combining all this.
Awesome.
All right.
Now,
hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Devin has a question about making an Instagram page for a sales rep. Devin, are you the business owner or the sales rep? So sales rep. Okay, perfect. So you're talking about setting up an Instagram profile for yourself. Nikki just dropped it in chat. Look at mastersroofing.memphis is a great example. But here's where, the question and answer will be on replay also. Devin, here's the real answer. Social media and an Instagram account is going to help you to connect with your consumers and build trust, right? With your potential customers and build trust. With all social media in the roofing industry, a lot of people just want to post before and afters, or they'll post 3 tips for washing your roof, or they'll post, stuff like that. The before and afters are great, right? That's your portfolio of work. But then also a good example of this, and what Andrew has done so much better than a lot of people that I've ever seen, is that he brings in a local relevance to that conversation. So now when Andrew is out at a build and he's doing his before and after shots, and he's standing there with the customer doing a customer testimonial and things like that, he also stops by the neighborhood landmark and takes some pictures there, right? So you're incorporating that local relevance within your commercial relevance, right? What you're asking for and what you're putting yourself out there as that individual sales rep. So in that way, now you're building that local relevance, and also in using hashtags. You'll notice on Andrew's Instagram post that he'll have hashtags like hashtag shop Memphis. Right? So he's capturing that local audience to build brand awareness, right? To build brand awareness. And you could do this on a company level or on an individual level, but that's what Andrew does so well. And that's what you can do as an individual sales rep. So making sure that you're documenting your day. Another good friend of mine, Dominic DePedro, he's been on the podcast. He does an amazing job. It's the Gary V method, document your day, right? hey, I'm out here in so-and-so neighborhood. We're checking out houses. Yeah, if you're in the neighborhood, let us know if you need anything. Boom, boom, boom. Now they see your Instagram post. Now they see the truck now they see the sign in the yard. Then they see a Facebook ad for the company. Then they see that. Then you close another sale. You get to ask for referrals. You get to meet the insurance agent, and the cycle continues. So hope that helps you out.
Can I jump in, Jim?
Go for it, man.
So Devin said the Gary V method, and yeah, I want to yes and that. When we're talking about all these pieces fitting together to be seen everywhere to the right people, think of the people you follow on social media, Facebook or Instagram. I have friends that I haven't seen in person, friends, right, online, that I know everything they're doing, and they look like they're living this grand life. And in my internal weird world, they are branded in my brain as this type of individual who enjoys these activities all the time. But in the real world, they are nowhere in my life. When we combine these two elements of this see everywhere, it is the Gary V method in a way, localized to the right people. So you're not spending money, which this is such a big mistake, where people are trying to dump money to be everywhere to everyone. My YouTube channel is not going to reach hundreds of thousands of subscribers because my audience is roofing salespeople, not just roofing industry, roofing sales, the segment of this, right? So I may be everywhere to those people, and that's who matters to me. Those are the people I can impact, I can help. So when we look at this Gary Vaynerchuk, which by the way, Joshua, if you look up, just Google Gary V or look up Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a thought leader and has some really good stuff. So our idea is to brand ourselves to the right people and not waste time, energy, and money on trying to be a Gary V to everybody, because Gary V is almost a household name. But my job is to get your company, your face, you the sales rep, you the owner, you the company, in front of everyone that matters. So in their world, you're the biggest. And that's a much faster and easier path to get to than being like, I will be top roofer of this state. Which for grins, I've done this before. Google roofing company and then your city. And then I want you to click on the map. And then when you see the listing, there will be up to 12 pages or more. Houston, Texas runs out of results. There's more than 12 pages before you even look into the additional layers of the subdivisions and surrounding areas. There's 12 pages of roofing companies. So if you're trying to just like throw money into competing when everyone else is doing exactly the same thing you are, your job is to say, here's what everyone's doing. I'm going to zag. Everyone else is zigging. I'm going to zag. And when you zag, when they zig, you can now out-compete them in the areas that matter most.
So William has a question. If an individual rep wanted to implement a targeted neighborhood ad campaign, what would you suggest as far as implementation? Do you need a company campaign, or could it be rep-centered? It can be rep-centered. And so video is the best thing, right? So shooting video and then using that video to promote. So you'll have to have a fan page, a business page, a personal brand page on Facebook. But here's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the people that like you on your Instagram become an audience. Everything about Facebook advertising is about audiences. So years ago, we could go in and really get detailed on those audiences because Facebook let us get into all of this crazy data that they have access to. Now they keep shrinking that down, shrinking that down, shrinking that down, shrinking that down. So you don't have as much access to data. So now, what we do is we build campaigns to utilize the artificial intelligence of Facebook, to utilize that back-end data. So we're either building an audience through people who like our Instagram, so making sure all of your customers like your personal Instagram, right? Making sure all the people in your neighborhood, in that neighborhood, are liking your Instagram or liking your Facebook page as an individual sales rep or as a company. Then what you do when you're creating an ad is you say, I want to show this ad. I want to show my ad to people that look like this audience, that look like the people who like my Instagram profile in this geographic area. So that's a way that anyone can target that. Does that hopefully that helps you out, William? Gary V.
And Devin, thank you. You had a question, Jim, if you have any customers in Arizona. And Devin, I just want to say thank you for the kind words. You said the psychology you guys have is great. And thank you, helping me reach goals more than you know. You know, that's the one thing, Devin, that kind of attracted me to Jim in doing this synergy, because we pulled this together super fast when I reached out. I was like, man, we should combine these things. That afternoon, we jumped on a call, and it's because Jim's passionate about it. And I had someone, I think it was Kenneth, who's on here, comment on the invitation that was on Facebook saying, is it okay? And you know, what's the price? So this is free. I said, of course, we will have an offer. We are in business the same way you guys are, and we have solutions that are going to help. But the big takeaway for both of us is to truly leave you with actionable insights, epiphanies, ideas, things that you can use to grow your business, reach your goals in a way, whether or not you spend a penny with either of us.
Yep.
And I know for certain that this industry allows us, I've been quoted a lot saying this, sales is personal development in disguise, whether you're an owner or an individual rep. And the only way that we are going to level up is to then grab the next strategy. I like to think that we are always one strategy away from our next big breakthrough. And I do this exercise. I actually did a video on the channel about this, that when we sit there and think, we say, okay, I did this number in sales last year. I did this. I want to get to here. So we need to ask ourselves, what didn't work? What did really well? And what was I doing that was keeping me from getting there? Okay. So what worked, what didn't, and what did I do that was keeping me? These could be your own personal demons, whatever that might be. You know, do you need to work more on a Saturday or whatever it is? You need the next strategy. Okay, if I could supplement with digital leads, or if I could take my digital leads and add in door knocking, the answer might be different. But I've found that if we can put blinders on and find the one strategy, don't think about trying to do a million things at once. The one strategy that if you knock this down will have the biggest impact on your business, block everything else out, do that. You will then create the problem again. Okay, cool, got my digital in place. Now I need the problem of keeping up with leads. Then we solve this problem, then the next one. So anyway, that's a mindset I like for everybody to have when we learn these things is, what's the one strategy I need? How do I get it fast? How do I use it faster? And then ask yourself again, when you create the next problem, which Adam, there's a guy named Adam who reached out to me, who's going to be on the channel on Monday. And he said to me, his opening words were, I never thought I'd be too busy to keep up with sales. And then he said, you were right. I said, yes, it happens. So just find that next domino and knock it over.
For sure. You can get there. Work on your weaknesses, right? That's a great thing to do. The weakest point, and then that will accelerate your growth tremendously. I think I don't see any more questions in the chat. If we missed you, drop a 1 in the chat and we'll get that question answered. And Adam, thanks for doing this. I appreciate you, man. I think we're able to provide a lot of value to everyone. Let us know. Reach out to us. You know, feel free to schedule a call with us. Talk to Adam. Check out more content that we create. Hopefully that we can help you uplift and succeed in your roofing business. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And just drop my email in the chat. You guys are welcome to reach out. I'll be happy to respond and help. And Jim, any closing remarks? I'm just going to put that link in if anyone wants it. You can check out the sales team plan there. And Jim, do you want to put your link to your calendar so folks can get in touch with you? Because I know the chat has been awesome, blowing up. There it is for Nikki's direct line. So either way, thank you all for taking precious time from your day. Hopefully you left with a bunch of things that are going to help you make even more money. And that is all I've got.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.